Yo. All right. Hey guys.
Okay. Well,
You can continue. Start.
hello. This is Philip George here, PhilipG, and I'm with the legendary Mittal as always.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we are gonna. This is gonna be our first discussion. We're gonna be talking about many topics, and the one topic we're gonna talk about is Marvel and
Yep.
how the virus has affected its scheduling. So, one of the things that I just watched you. I think I sent you the link as well to the game theory video.
I don't know. I don't think I've watched it, but I
Yeah,
don't think I've.
it's on film theory, but basically he's referring to how Black Widow will be the Iron Man one of this new Phase 4.
Yep.
And basically what it's saying is that Black Widow essentially film theory is basically edging on that. Oh yeah, we have Taskmaster, but there's something bigger at play. And
Yeah.
basically he's referring to the Dark Avengers slash the
Yep.
Thunderbolts and
Yeah.
how the thing is that the big plot twist is like one of Black Widow's friends, like I don't know if this is real, but basically it's like Black Widow, like remember this movie takes place like before after Civil War but before Infinity War. So
Yeah.
basically it's like the Black Widow we saw die in Endgame is not the Black Widow we know. That's what game film theory is saying. And basically is that one of her friends, Juliana, I forgot the blonde haired lady, she's the one being Black Widow from Infinity War onwards. And she's using some like facial technology.
Oh.
And basically she's the one who died on she's the one who died. And that the real Black Widow is just trapped somewhere. That's basically
Yeah.
what film theory is saying. That they basically switch, and she's going to be the starting point to how the Dark Avengers that how the Dark Avengers will start,
Yeah.
and that's why Ross's involvement, because basically the rumored end credit teaser will kind of show us wants to try to experiment on himself,
Mm-hmm.
which we all know what that means, and for all comic book fans, know what we're leading up to. And apparently we're gonna get okay. These are just rumors. These could not happen, you. So if all this could not happen, they just twisted 180. But another rumor is that Jennifer Walters, you know who that is as well. She
Mm-hmm.
Hulk,
Yep.
cousin of Bruce Banner, is gonna be somewhat introduced somewhere in this film. Like it's gonna be super small, but apparently this is gonna be. She's going to be introduced there before She Hulk comes out on Disney Plus. They're gonna do that, and basically, Ross wants to experiment on himself, which could mean Red Hulk is imminent to the MCU. You know why?
Why?
From the Black Widow trailer, Film Theory paused it, and guess who makes their appearance here?
Ross or
AIM,
Stark?
AIM, AIM.
Oh, the same
So
company that
basically,
owned by Aldrich
yes.
Killian.
And do you know what he's saying here? See, AIM in the MCU was experimenting with Extremis. And what happens when Red Hulk gets angry? The
Becomes more
hotter he
powerful.
gets. The hotter he gets. Basically, like the Hulk, when he gets angry, the angry gets, the stronger he gets. But with Red Hulk, the angrier he gets, the hotter he gets. So basically, all over the trailer, there's a lot of AIM, even though AIM is destroyed essentially, but AIM still exists. So what does this show? That's what film theory in this video is saying. AIM is still out there, and basically the MCU is going to twist it up, and AIM's going to help make Ross into the Red Hulk.
Hmm.
That's crazy, and like it's pretty crazy. So that means Aldrich Killian might have survived, or like somebody else took over AIM.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was
That's
thinking like
probably that
Aldrich
theory.
Killian, he can secretly be alive. And what people were saying is that if you've seen the show Agents of Shield, then there you know that there's like a possibility that Modoc is that. Then they found Modoc, and they said that like Aldrich Kill. I think they said Aldrich Killian was Modoc. I think if I remember, I don't think that was. But I think
There's
they
a
linked
few.
Aldrich Killian. And if you look at the comics, I think Aldrich Killian is the identity of. I think in some comics, Aldrich Killian was considered the identity of Modoc.
Exactly. So people are saying that AIM, because Black, so this is film theory. He's the one who, you can watch the video
Matthew
as well
Patrick,
after
Matt
this.
Pat, Matt Pat.
Matt Pat himself. He's in the trailer. If you pause it, you can see the AIM logo. And you can see the AIM logo.
Yep.
And that's the crazy part. You can see the AIM logo. And this is where it's like Extremis, heat, hotness, Red Hulk, heat, hotness. The
Yep.
connections are there. So that's how the MCU is going to do it. And I would personally I love Ross as of now. And I love what they're doing with Black Widow because there's so much this movie's going to offer.
Mm.
Like, this movie's going to be like, as quoted by Matt Pat, the Iron Man 1 of this next phase, which is
Yep.
crazy. And like, why do you think, even though they pushed it, it's in November, I feel like this movie's gonna, like, in a sense, change a few things because he makes a bunch of theories in that video. So I
Mhm.
suggest go watch it. But the craziest part is, we could be getting Dark Avengers with like
Yep.
an evil Black Widow, because the Black Widow we saw wasn't Black Widow,
Mhm.
question mark.
Yeah,
And
I
we
believe
could be
so.
getting,
Because like the
and we could be getting an evil Hulk. So that's 2 members down. And we could be getting Norman Osborn in the future
oh yeah,
with
because like have you
Spider-Man
seen the new
3.
Spider-Man trailer? They're thinking of bringing Norman Osborn in.
Oh man, it's
And like
crazy. I
Norman
don't know,
Osborn in the
man.
Sinister Six, and I'm thinking that like from that, when the Spider-Man defeats the Sinister Six, Norman Osborn maybe the Dark Avengers too.
Maybe exactly. There's a ton of I'm so kind of excited because now we're going into comic book territory. Like,
Yep.
now we're going into some of the more interesting storylines, which now I want to see. Like, yeah, I like Thanos and the Infinity Saga. Like, I'm not gonna discredit it, but now we're going into some territory which I'm like, oh my god, finally. Like, the
Mhm.
MCU can sprout out. But here's another factor which I'm kind of sad about. The coronavirus is hitting Marvel at the wrong time and when it's most vulnerable. Like, look how many iconic characters we lost, to be honest with you. Like, we lost Tony Stark, and like majority of the Avengers are down. We have new characters. And like, the thing was, like, I heard phase 4 was supposed to start with Far From Home. Then in summer, or around this time, we were supposed to get volume 3. Then we all know what happened. James Gunn got fired, and then he
Yep.
got rehired again. And that, we don't know when Guardians 3 will ever happen now.
Yeah.
And that's
But
another question. When will Guardians 3 come out? We have no clue, because it was supposed to come out after a few months after Far From Home.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Another
what?
idea I was thinking was that another movie coming out, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh man,
Didn't we
that
want?
is.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like we were discussing that. Like the theory is that Doctor Strange's mind is older than his.
Oh, his body. Yeah, that's for sure. Because of how many realities he jumped,
Yeah.
especially in Infinity War. He's probably like, just saying, he could be millions of years old. Because we saw how many realities he saw. He was trying to find a way to beat Thanos, and he only found one out of how many.
Yep.
And that was for Tony to die, in the sense. And imagine that's why the whole theme is madness. And the what's it called? The directors of WandaVision said this show is going to connect with Doctor Strange too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm excited for Night. I think Nightmare should be the villain,
Yeah.
but
Nightmare
I
is the
feel
villain.
like I really want Nightmare to be the villain, because like I've watched so much, I've read so much. The perfect. And I
I don't know
think
why Zoom
we
is like.
should do, because Wanda's getting more powerful. It's all
Yep.
good. Wanda's getting more powerful. And the thing is, what I love to them to do is I found out what that comic book's name is. It's called No More Mutants. And in that comic book, basically, Wanda becomes so powerful, she just has to say no more mutants. The mutants are almost all gone. Like, the mutant gene is almost all gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's how powerful Wanda gets. And I feel like they're going to do a reverse version of that. Instead, like, Wanda will say something and mutants come into the MCU. Something like that, like the mutant gene.
Yep.
And I think like the director of
I feel like when you
WandaVision's
said no
hinting
more
at.
mutants, people are thinking of like how to bring X-Men to the MCU. Also, this is
Exactly.
yeah,
That
and I feel like
storyline was
if they
really
were to bring
interesting.
Magneto, I feel like, and in the comics, Magneto is known as the father of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
It's Scarlet Witch. So
And I
I
feel
don't.
like,
There's
and in an Age of Ultron, it was said that their parents
killed.
were
So
destroyed.
we don't know exactly what could happen, but I think, in my opinion, um, they were gonna go throughout that storyline. That
Yeah,
storyline, like, Wanda becomes so powerful, she just needs to say it. And I
yeah,
feel like, look at her. She was able to go toe to toe against Thanos. If
yep,
Thanos didn't say rain fire, people said he would have died. Wanda became that powerful.
yep.
Tell me, she keeps going and she lets out her rage, tell me, I think she can pull something like that.
Yeah, I feel like she
That's why
become.
I feel like
Yeah.
she grew more powerful than the Infinity Stone,
Yep.
to be honest with you. And that's why people are saying, oh, they're basically going to do a No More Mutant storyline. Where, like,
Yeah.
Wanda slowly is going crazy. And look, WandaVision, we see how many versions of Wanda? She's going crazy, and she's having a family with Vision, even though we all know Vision's dead.
Yep.
It's just her in her head making this. And people are speculating, oh, are we getting multiverse? And I'm like, no, I think it's just her mentality of what's going on. Because first of all, she loses her husband. Second
Hmm.
of all, majority of the people she knew died. Second of
Yeah.
all, like she like, okay, first of all, there's no Captain America. There's no I mean, Hawkeye's retired. Like, she lost so much, to be honest with you. She wanted to have a life with Vision. And then
Yeah.
look what happened. It all went down. But people are saying that Wanda and Vision from the trailer had kids. So what is this referring to? Is this multiverse? We don't
I
know.
don't know.
We don't know the full thing.
Yep.
And I'm also like, my dad saw the Super Bowl trailer. He's like, wait, Wanda and Vision have kids? I'm like, we don't know. Like, this could be multiverse. This could
It
be
could
in
be. Yeah. It
Wanda's
could be
head.
multiverse.
This could be in Wanda's head. Like, because the director's saying, like, oh, this takes place in Wanda's head. Like, or like, this is her mentality. She's envisioning a life with her and Vision.
Hmm.
But I don't know. The more I see it, the more I'm getting more multiverse, especially with the Loki movie, the Loki show. That's
Yeah.
going to be multiverse written all over it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's the one I'm excited for.
Yeah. Same. Oh yeah. Speaking of like multiverse, like I was thinking, like, really about that talk. Like, if you saw Avengers Endgame, like when you talk about the Loki thing, like, here's one question I had. Instead of like Tony Stark and Captain America getting the Tesseract, why wasn't Rocket Raccoon the one to get the Tesseract? Wasn't the Tesseract in Asgard during the events of the Dark World?
That is a very good. Oh yeah, we had this discussion, and I completely agree. And we talked about the other factors. First of all, it's just like, yeah, let's just feature all the MCU movies. Like, there's one reason, like, and then like people have brought that up. Like, wait, two Infinity Stones were one place. Why didn't Thor remember? And we have to realize this Thor is a Thor whose depression is now getting to him. His
Yeah.
sadness is getting to him. First
Yeah.
of all, one movie he loses his mom. Next movie he loses his girlfriend. Then he loses his dad. Then he loses his brother. Then he loses half of his civilization and more. Like, how do you cope with that?
And
Like,
he even loses his planet too.
oh yeah, it's Planet Two. I'm sorry, I even forgot the obvious. It's Planet Two. And you're thinking like he would, like, I know, like, yeah, he should have remembered, but in the sense he's just thinking, oh my God, look, I'm back here. I don't want to be back here. Because this is reminding him of his failures. He failed to save Asgard. He failed
Hmm.
to save his people. He failed to be a king. And I think that all built up on him. In that moment, he wasn't thinking, oh wait, there's a second stone here. We could get
Yeah.
it. And
Either that, or then people. I think I asked this question to people also, and they said that even if Thor knew, and even if Thor told Rocket, it would be very hard to, because like,
oh
sure, it's in
yeah,
Asgard, but it's very highly guarded.
exactly. That would be the other hard thing. And I mean, like, I think they probably took this into consideration while planning it. Like, think about it. This question could pop up, and basically, what if Tony was like, "Wait, yeah, but isn't it like heavily guarded?" And they can't disturb it, or they'll disturb that timeline. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, but
Like, it
like,
doesn't
didn't
affect them,
didn't
but
Hulk say like changing the past doesn't change the future, and wouldn't that be
yeah,
like in an all other universe?
yeah. But the thing is, even the ancient one explained, like, yeah, it doesn't affect them, but it could affect that timeline. So imagine if the Tesseract disappeared, and or like something happened where some soldier died, but that soldier was supposed to protect the Tesseract for this amount of time, but didn't. This could cause a change in the events. Like, even something as small as a minion or a soldier dying could change that timeline's events. Like, imagine if a Jatari shot Black Widow and killed her in the Avengers 1. That timeline has been changed. You
Hmm.
understand? Like, that's
Yeah,
why,
but
like,
like,
that
couldn't you go back to your main timeline though?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's
Like
so many like
and going back to the previous question, I mean, if you've read the comics, then you know that Rocket Raccoon is broken into worse places too. Like, but
oh yeah, that's very true. Like I completely agree with that. And probably like if Thor and it could have happened, but I feel like the directors are too focused on like other points. You understand? Like,
yeah, these are just hypothetical scenarios.
and
And
these
another
could happen.
hypothetical scenario I thought of during Endgame was like I think was talking to you about. I think it was the Thor thing. Like like the Avengers, like the another time travel scenario, like what if they, instead of traveling to like a separate area, what if they travel to either the Battle of Titan or the Battle of Wakanda?
And that's a very good point. And I feel like it would be better to go to the Battle of Titan. Titan, I feel like, is less people and you can maneuver around better. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
And I feel like, in a sense, like, I don't think, well,
I, I
I'm just
feel like if
saying
they
in their minds.
traveled around Titan, like they should have gone to they should have waited to the part where like Peter Quill was about to do that, like tranquilize Peter
Oh,
Quill, and then
oh
like
yeah, take down
talk to the
Peter,
other guys,
then
and you're like, you know what, your timeline is saved now.
oh yeah, now your timeline is saved. Hey, can we use your stones for a second?
And then
There you go.
you're
That could have, and
yeah.
then they can go back. Boom, everything is saved.
Hmm.
That could have been the case, but we don't know. Wait, they're making a show called What If. Maybe this could be an episode.
Yeah. Oh
Think about it.
yeah.
They're making like a cartoon like MCU What If scenario show.
Like they what
So
did they like?
maybe
What if they traveled to like Thanos time?
exactly no. There's only like two leaked episodes of What If. Like one is like what if Peggy Carter took the serum and Steve Rogers was got a suit from Howard Stark. There's that What If episode's coming out. I don't know when because of the coronavirus, but it should come out soon.
Yeah.
And there's a
Oh
few What
yeah.
If scenarios which are happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They are.
So yeah, What If's going to be a
Another
show
what if
where
I
this
was
could
thinking, I don't
happen.
know if this is going to be added, but another what if I was thinking, it was like, I think one time asked you, like, what if like there was like one Marvel comic that like, in which like Steve Rogers was captured by like Red Skull and
Oh
Hydra,
yeah.
and then they take Captain America's DNA to like get back the super serum.
And there was we were talking about the comic they made, but they made a cartoon movie off of, which was Iron Man and Cap team up. And it was a pretty good cartoon movie. I remember I watched it on Netflix actually. It was actually a decent movie, combined both elements of Stark and more, and as well Cap. Like first of all, like Red Skull made an army of like super soldiered up like men, but they're like giant walking hulks with like arms of like Stark technology. And then the Hulk comes in, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But in the end, they stop him and they stop the Red Skull. But the
Yeah.
problem was the fact that the moment they injected the serum from Steve's blood, it was incompatible with all of them, all the soldiers, and turned them into like mutants. But Red Skull didn't even care. He's like, oh, at least kill and then he brainwashed Rogers, and then Stark had to learn how to and he took lessons from what Cap was saying, and Cap was learning lessons from Stark. That's why I like those team up because you learn from both sides. And the
Hmm.
thing with Cap and Stark, they are so different but so equal. Like this is when we were like subscribers. When me and you were talking in our free time, we were talking about Civil War. Is it a good movie or a bad movie? Is it an essential movie? This could also we can talk about how Stark and Cap, like two of the probably icons of the MCU phase 1 to 3. Those
Yeah.
two. Those two were like, oh yeah, I'm a guy who's always with the US. I'm always guide by the book. Then we have Stark, the rebel, middle fingers, the government, who cares? I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then they switched roles in Civil War. Cap is
Yeah.
the one who's like, let's not follow the government anymore. And then Stark is the one we should. So in a sense, they both reverse roles, and that's what
Yeah.
makes Civil War such an interesting movie. No matter if you hate it or like it, these two have always been by the book or like been by their ideals until Civil War.
Yep.
They switched, and it's crazy because Stark was always the guy. Like I remember in Iron Man 2, he was in the Senate chamber and he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not giving you my armor nor nothing. And then we have a few years later, he's the guy who's now with the government saying, oh, they're the ones to help us. Well, now Cap, he's a guy, I mean, look at him. Like America's written all over him. The serum, his costume, like he's Captain America. He's built by the government.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that's what's so crazy. And then Steve is the one who said yes, like, yeah, I don't think we should listen to the government anymore, guys. They're gonna take away our freedom.
Yep.
And then Stark's like, we'll still be together, but at what price? We're gonna lose our freedom, guys. And then Stark brings up a point which I kind of agree with. We're no different than the bad guys if we don't get controlled. But the people that control us could be having sinister intentions. Imagine you.
Mm-hmm.
They are assigned to a mission to kill innocents. Are they gonna do it? Are they not? Are they willing to do it? We don't know. That's the whole thing. That's why I like Civil War from a philosophical level. It's superheroes. That's why my dad still thinks like, wow, Civil War is a really good movie because it really makes you think like, man, which side is actually right? We for a while, like I remember first watching Civil War, like my dad was like, wow, like pretty crazy. Like the Avengers are split apart
Mm-hmm.
because of like signing some papers and it's like real life too. Like some countries split apart and war happens, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like similar to like Batman versus Superman, but except that wasn't Batman
Oh
versus
gosh.
Superman. No, that was
We
not the
watched
case. Like,
that on
I
TV.
mean, superheroes fought each other in Civil War for like a good reason, while in Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah, to be honest with you, that I don't even understand why. To be honest, me and my dad watched it and we were so confused. We were like, wait, did they fight over like we were so confused. Like even me, I watched it like at least twice. I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another thing. The DCEU, what's happening?
I
What's
don't know.
happening, you?
We
What
know. I don't
happened
know
to
if
Birds of
Joker, like, if you've seen Joker, I don't think that's part of the DC
What I
thing.
heard is that Joker is, and then the follow-up to what Joker was supposed to do was Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. But I heard that flopped.
Yeah.
So now the
I don't know.
DCEU is
DC
stuck
movies
again.
recently aren't doing so well. Yeah.
The only one, what I heard from the director was that Joker wasn't supposed to be part of the DCEU, but I heard now it is. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
But
You know what's so sad? Years ago, someone would say to me, DC is better than Marvel. And in terms of stuff and like some stuff, I'll be like, yeah. But look at the times have changed. Like,
yeah.
to be honest with you, like the fact that nobody knows Superman that much than Iron Man, like think about that for a second, you.
Yeah.
Like people still know Superman, but you would rather buy an Iron Man action figure.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. That's crazy in my
I
opinion.
know. Maybe because the recent movies have been flopped. And
And
oh yeah, speaking of
even
Superman, there was this one game on the Nintendo 64 called Superman 64, and people dub it the worst, one of the worst N64 games.
oh yeah, and like my own dad was saying, like, dude, what did they do to Superman? Like, and
Like,
he did not like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we watched the classic one, like the classic Superman. Remember that?
mm-hmm.
My dad was like, even though it was simpler times, like everyone knew Superman, but like this is just a disgrace. Like,
Oh,
and I'm like, oh man, that's coming from my own dad. And I was like, oh shoot. Like, I was so confused with the plot. Like, to be honest with you, when Batman was about to strike Superman, was it because Martha? Like, what kind of reasoning is that?
yeah, no.
My mom's name is Martha. Like, what? And I remember that scene so well. He's like, yeah, Martha, Martha. That was the worst, probably one of the worst, like reasons. Oh man, you want to move on to the next topic?
I was thinking, like, I mean, this could be think a Marvel related topic. Oh yeah, there's like this common question, like, which here's people been asking, like, what if Iron Man? Why didn't Iron Man give his suits away to? Why didn't he give everyone Iron Man suits? And I kind of thought there is
Okay,
actually a good reason why he didn't.
that's actually a good. Okay, there is many reasons why, and I feel like we have to go to Iron Man 2 for this. Okay, so Iron Man 2. That was basically the whole conflict. Your question, that was Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Should Tony give his suits away? And that question was answered. And even like, yeah, he wasn't willing to give it to the government, but like when Rhodey took it away, like, and then he kind of realized, yeah, these are pretty dangerous to get into the wrong hands. Like, imagine arc reactor technology getting into the wrong hands. Like, that can
Yeah.
be like catastrophic.
Yeah.
Like, look at what Ultron was able to do to Sokovia, and think
Yeah.
about that. Like, look, like that's why I think Ross was right in some aspects. Like, yeah, the Avengers did very good stuff, but at the same time, people could be alive.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. People are dead because of those events. Like, that's the stuff which like that really hits me. Like like, oh yeah, the superheroes are gonna save the day, but there's people dead.
Yeah.
Like, people died in Sokovia. People died in New York. Like, we don't think about that, don't we?
Yeah.
Like, people died in New York and people died in Washington D.C. Remember during Winter Soldier, like people died, and That's why I love Marvel. They make it serious, but they also have their funny moments, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love. They really emphasize, yeah, you guys saved the day, but look at how many casualties. Like, they were in the thousands, close to millions. People
Mm-hmm.
died.
I
And that
know.
kind of shows you, like, superheroes in a sense need to be regulated, but at what cost? And back to Iron Man here, he knew but the thing, Tony was dying. He was dying essentially, and he had nothing to lose. And the thing was, and he was in a bad place at that time because he was trying to find a way to fix
His heart.
like what is essentially incompleted technology. Remember that
Mm-hmm.
the thing that he had at the time was incompleted, and his father found a new element. Remember
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yep.
That was the way to complete the arc reactor. And Tony, we have to look at his mindset. He didn't care about, he wanted to do everything by himself. He didn't want anybody to help. He didn't want anybody to help him out. He wanted to do it by himself because he's Iron Man. And that's what Tony realized. Sometimes he does need help. And that's why in the end, he gives his suit, his first suit. Remember, that's his first suit, the Mark One, to
Yeah.
Rhodey. That's the Mark One suit to Rhodey. And that's why he gives one of his suits to Rhodey. And it makes sense. And it makes sense because now he's like, Tony is opening up. Remember, he was a selfish character in the beginning. He
Mm-hmm.
was a super selfish character. Didn't care about anybody, cared about his money, wealth. Then he slowly starts opening up as the movies keep going on. So I
Yep.
hope that somewhat answers your question about how and why Tony doesn't want to give his suits necessarily,
Yeah.
Even though, like, oh yeah, give it to Hulk or something, but like, yeah,
I
but
mean, yeah,
that's what.
I can see why. Like sometimes sometimes it can be in the wrong hands, or sometimes it may go out of control and it may end up doing more harm than help.
Do you want to move on to the next topic by the time?
Yep. It's maybe the last because like we have 3 o'clock till
Oh
three
yeah.
o'clock.
So
I don't know.
we have season 7. I will not go into super spoilers, but I will talk about the beginning of the last arc. So I want to talk about the 501st and what went down. And I was so shocked. So basically, do you want spoilers, Yug?
I don't know. I mean, I will see it anyway, so you can tell me.
Rex is commander now.
Yep.
Commander Rex. It's finally happened after how many seasons? Rex is commander. And guess what? They
What?
split the 501st. So now their helmets is basically like in Ahsoka's coloring. Their helmets. So just to welcome her back.
So
It's so
Ahsoka becomes a
crazy.
Jedi Knight, and
And she becomes a knight, and she's given the 2 blades by Anakin. And this is the last time she'll see Anakin. Remember, they have to go off. See, the reason they split the 501st, so basically the legion she has is the 332nd. That's what they're called.
mm-hmm.
And the rest of them go to Coruscant because the Chancellor's been kidnapped. And we all know what's happening now. And there's a
And I feel
few
like that leads
times.
up to Revenge of the Sith, because
Yes,
that's
you got it.
on the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
That's where
And
he gets kidnapped.
But that's not the main point. There was points before when Anakin first got off the ship, he was like, "Oh, Ahsoka, I haven't seen you in so long." But this is what Ahsoka does. This is not a good time to talk. We can talk later. And then the Vader theme plays in the background slowly. I'm like, oh shoot. She rejected Anakin right at the beginning. It was so subtle. She denied Anakin. Anakin hasn't seen her in how long? For her to just do that, it was so cold.
I
And
really want to
now
see
it
that.
shows, it's super small, but you can hear that Vader theme like coming through a little bit. And
Yeah.
it shows why in Rebels, Vader didn't care, because one of the last memories he has of Ahsoka is her basically saying, "I'll talk to you later." And that scene, it was so brief. My dad was like, "Oh, that's gonna be coming back in Rebels," and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Yep." And that basically is what happened, because, like, yeah. And then towards the end, they were back together, but like Vader had that in his head. Wow, like she like denied me without even like a second's notice.
Yeah.
My own Padawan that I used to know, in a set, like the first time I meet her in so long, was like, we can talk later. What kind of response is that?
I
Like,
know.
no wonder why Anakin got so pissed, like when he turned Vader, because that's one of the last memories he has of her. Think about that.
Yeah.
Before Revenge of the Sith. And okay, so far they're trying to get Maul. Maul's on Mandalore right now.
Yeah.
Maul's on Mandalore with the Black Sun Syndicate from from Solo, of course, from that whole thing in Solo.
Hmm.
And now he's basically combining all the gangs in Star Wars together into one, and we don't know what's going to happen now. And basically, what's the new Legion of the 501st called? It's called the 332nd. That's what they're called. And basically, Commander Jess, people are speculating Jess is going to get the order to kill, Order 66 call. And that's
Yeah.
when he'll try to kill Ahsoka. But Rex doesn't have his chip anymore. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Jess, right? Do you remember
Yeah.
Jess?
The one who accompanied them, and if you've seen the episode, that's how the inhibitor chips were how they.
Yeah, and Jess still has his. And Jess is on. So basically, how they've split up. But okay, the majority of the 501st is with Anakin and I think Kenobi. I know Kenobi's Legion, and so it's like a bit of Anakin's Legion and a bit of Kenobi's Legion combined for Ahsoka's Legion. You know what I'm trying to say? If
Hmm.
that's confusing.
Yeah.
So that's how they basically, and they all have like Ahsoka's brown and like white marks on their helmets. It's like
Yep.
orange and white, and it's really nice because they're even like Rex says, "Welcome back," and and now it's just like Anakin's like, "Oh yeah, meet your commander," and I'm like, "He's finally commander." It's crazy. Rex
Hmm.
finally got promoted, and it's good for him. Good for him. Finally. And here's another thing why I'm starting to like this final arc. Like, and then the last moments of Anakin saying bye to Ahsoka, he gives her the dual blue lightsabers. No, actually, they're the same lightsabers, but he changed the crystal to be blue. That's for a reason. We all know why, like Anakin's, of course.
Hmm.
So in that dialogue, it's like right before she goes, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna need this." He brings out a little box, opens it. It's the exact same lightsabers, but with different crystals.
Yeah.
It's both blue, and he's like, "Well, I changed them a bit." And then he's like, "It's the final farewell to Ahsoka before Revenge of the Sith." And this battle is taking place during Revenge of the Sith. Now we know.
Mhm.
So the Battle of Mandalore will go on during the events of Revenge of the Sith. Now we officially know, and
Yep.
we know Jess. And now it's kind of suggested that Jess will be the one to get the order to kill Ahsoka. Jess
Mhm.
and the 332nd will turn on Ahsoka. Her and Rex will escape somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know how, but they will find a way. So we don't know what's going to happen with that battle with Maul, but season seven's finale. And now Lucasfilm's hinting at more Clone Wars, which I don't know what you can do if it's no longer the Clone Wars. What's your thoughts on that, Duke?
Oh. I don't know.
What's your
Like, I
thoughts
mean, I
on a
feel like that would be
continuation of
like,
Clone
I
Wars?
feel like Ahsoka would be like able to escape though, because like she.
Oh, and here's another thing. This is where they explain the fulcrum thing. So basically, how Anakin and Obi-Wan gained in contact with Ahsoka was through a sound wave called fulcrum.
Oh,
If you watched Rebels, you know what fulcrum is. It's that sound wave, that code name that Ahsoka uses. And so she first uses it to contact Anakin and Kenobi.
oh,
Rex was like, so before the final arc episode, the little thing at the end, Anakin and them are searching through sound waves, and basically Anakin gets this one found sound wave called fulcrum. This person, and that's Ahsoka, of course. We all know. And I
yeah,
liked how they kind of connected it back to Rebels a little bit with fulcrum and where she got the nickname for it.
yep.
It's pretty. The last arc is really good. I hope they ended off on a good note, but I don't think they should continue Clone Wars off after, because it's no longer the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars are over, so it's not worth it to continue it on.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be like the end, because like Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to fight off Dooku
Yeah,
while Ahsoka's fighting Darth Vader.
and it's super
Not Darth Vader,
sad
sorry,
too.
Darth
Like,
Maul.
no, and here's the saddest part. You know what's the saddest part? Like, Ahsoka's looking back at Anakin. Anakin does a little wave before heading off, and it's so sad. It is so sad. Before he heads off with Kenobi to go to Coruscant to get the Chancellor, and
Hmm.
it's so sad. Like, personally, I felt it was really saddening because it's just like you're not going to see, because like we know like Anakin's not going to be the same after
Hmm.
this. Like, he's going
Yeah,
to lose everything he loves,
yeah,
and like the thing is, what's so sad is that they reconnected towards the end, but at the beginning was super rough and bumpy, which is so sad because
hmm,
Ahsoka talks about how she's lost her trust in the council, and how in some parts she lost his trust in him. And this will come to bite Ahsoka back when Vader comes face to face with Ahsoka.
yep,
So now a lot of stuff is coming together. Like, why like we were all like in Rebels, why does Vader hate Ahsoka still? Like, hate Ahsoka. Now we're starting to see their final moments weren't that good.
yeah,
And now it's kind of shown like, oh yeah, Ahsoka has a grudge. And, well, Anakin has a little bit of a grudge. Now I can't blame him because I can send you this clip. This is like straight out mean, like rudeness from Ahsoka,
yeah,
straight to Anakin's face. And Anakin's a little bit displeased. He's like, oh, like, he didn't say anything, but you can. His facial expression shows like, I'm not really that happy you acted that way. And this could all lead up to like why he still doesn't believe he doesn't trust the council. This is all building up to the distrust of the council, and
hmm,
now I don't feel that bad like why he lashed out on Ahsoka, because there's moments where Ahsoka's just, sorry to swear, an ass towards Anakin towards the end.
yeah,
Like, she's a little bit of an ass towards Anakin, and I don't blame Vader how he acted. I don't blame Vader how he acted towards Ahsoka towards the end.
hmm,
Like, I like how Ahsoka, now it's like in Rebels, Ahsoka's trying to get back to Anakin, but she doesn't even realize you were kind of an ass to Anakin towards the end.
hmm.
It's pretty, like, honestly, I will suggest just watch it for yourself. It is pretty good. This
Man, I
is like
really want to.
Lucasfilm. The Lucasfilm hasn't even touched this. Like, I don't see any editing at all. This is like
Hmm.
pure George influence. Like, there's no what's it called? There's no changing of anything. This is like
Yeah,
pure beautifulness.
yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Duke?
I honestly thought that was like a good idea.
I honestly, it's starting to be self-explanatory why Rebels Anakin slash Vader is super pissed at Ahsoka because of how, or like, even though like Ahsoka does everything to come back to Anakin's saying no, so I'm not turning because of how you acted towards me.
Yeah,
Now it's like everything is, the puzzle pieces are coming together, and that's why like a lot of things in Rebels didn't make sense to me. But now with this season 7 of Clone Wars, things are starting to. I'm starting to understand a little bit now.
yeah.
I'm starting to
Same.
understand why.
I need to
And
watch the.
apparently, yeah, dude, like, you can see. I can send you some small clips of what happens. It's pretty crazy, you.
Hmm.
Well, we're close to the end, but do you want to end out with any final notes for the subscribers?
All right, make sure you subscribe to both PhilipG and Mittal. And
Yep.
then next what if, it's probably we're gonna do sometime after next week or maybe tomorrow. We may do another what if.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Yug.
See ya.
See ya. Okay. Did you stop the recording?
Now I'm gonna stop.